Hey, this is Mark Patton, and you're listening to WithoutYourHead.com. And whatever you do, don't go to sleep.
310 area code, who are you?
This is Robert Rusler calling to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
I believe this is a first-time caller.
Yeah, this is the first-time caller. Absolutely.
Well, excellent.
I just saw your post on Facebook, and I'm a big horror fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to tell you guys to be on the lookout for my newest movie called the Tales of Halloween Anthology. Directed by Dave Parker. And
I heard about this. This is there's a lot of cool people involved in this.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and we always talk about on the show here. We really love anthology films in general. They're starting to make a comeback, which is very cool. And it's neat that this one name some of the people that are involved besides yourself, but including yourself, of course.
The other actress that I worked with in the show is Caroline Williams.
Nice.
And I can't talk too much about it because Mike Mendez made us promise to keep it hush hush, secret.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured I could let you guys know and tell the fans a little bit about what to expect.
Yeah, and actually, it's very cool because
it's going to be super scary.
Yeah, Mike Mendez is actually one of the first guests we ever had on the show back in 2006. I forget the movie he had out. It was part of God, I feel bad. But since then, he's had Big Ass Spider come out and this Halloween one. So give us a quick without going into spoilers or anything, what we can expect from Tales of Halloween.
Well, I read a couple of the scripts, and they're all really, really good. They're all shot really, really well. The crew are a bunch of seasoned vets, and all the directors have had some really, I would say, pretty popular horror films on their resume. And, they called me up to be a part of it, and I jumped on it real quick as soon as I realized some of the other people involved, some of the other actors as well. My buddy Jimmy Duvall's in one of the shorts, and Sean Clark is in that one with him as well. And I believe Adrienne Barbeau is going to be in another one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty cool. And I wanted to give a call to you guys because you guys have been awesome, and there's no more loyal no more loyal fans than horror fans, that's for sure.
Yeah. I know Andrew Cash is also involved, another former guest on the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we actually mentioned this a couple weeks ago on the show, because a lot of people we've had on the show are involved, and like I said, anthology films are always something we're interested in.
And also, it's going to be it's the 30-year reunion of Nightmare on Elm Street 2 part 2 coming up,
mm-hmm.
and me and the rest of the cast and the director Jack Shoulder, we're going to be in Texas coming up pretty soon it's going to be Mark Patton, Kim Myers, Robert Englund, Jack Shoulder, and myself. And Marshall Bell is going to be there. Did I mention old fucking dirty perverted Marshall? He's going to be there as well, and we're really excited about that. There's going to be a chance to get in bed with me and Mark and Robert Englund for a film photo op. So that's going to be pretty cool. Whoever comes up, part of the money's going to a great charity that Mark Patton is involved with, and they're actually going to do a recreation of Freddy coming out of the fan's body and getting into bed with Mark and I, because we have to still pay homage to the gayest horror film ever made.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's really cool, and it's cool that we talked to Mark a lot about the movie and how he came to accept, because he could have left Hollywood because of a lot of the backlash from the film. But how did that affect you, as an actor, being in when that started
Well,
to get a lot of the
I went right on to star with Grace Jones in Vamp.
right.
So I had to keep loyal to the Queens for a little while.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then listen, I've been really grateful to be a part of Hollywood now for over 30 years, and I'm still working, and I'm still I'm writing now, and I'm raising funds to direct my first horror film entitled Black Asylum.
Oh, nice.
I got a great cast. I'm utilizing relationships and friendships that I've accumulated over my career, and getting a bunch of great horror film actors together. So far in the movie is going to be, let's see, I got William Forsythe, Tom Tolles, I got William Sanderson, and Marshall Bell is going to be in that sucker. Jimmy Duvall is going to come on in, and we got some good cameos coming. That's we're keeping those a secret, but we're going to have some pretty cool cameos in the movie.
That's awesome.
So we're putting together a great team, and I want to introduce myself as a filmmaker. I've been in the business a long time, like I said, and I've been in a lot of cool horror movies. And there was, I had to go with that genre for my first directing debut,
Mm-hmm.
And so, I just wanted to call you guys and say thanks for, everything that you do for horror, and putting the word out to the fans, and being as horror savvy as you are. I just wanted to call up and tell you guys happy holidays and all the best to you.
Well, thank you. Really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
But it's funny. You just mentioned that you feel like, and it makes sense that you would go into a horror movie as your first movie. Where do you want to go from there if that's not cast?
Well, I have 10 films on the slate for my new production company called Entertainment Playground. And I've written 5 of the 10 scripts. The second one is actually called When We Were Romeos, and it's a story of my life in 1982, and it centers around the underground Hollywood club scene. And and then I got another movie called Pray for the Dead, which is a supernatural spaghetti western horror action adventure comedy drama.
It covers all bases.
Yeah, covering all the bases. So, full on story there. The original concept was to do a spaghetti western horror. I was working with a producer by the name of Gray Fredrickson on a movie in Oklahoma. And he was telling us these great stories of how he was a production manager on 5 Sergio Leone movies. He was on all the Man with No Name series. He was actually roommates with Clint Eastwood in Italy back in the 60s. And I just got such a kick out of the stories that he asked me to write a horror movie, and I said, well, why don't we do a spaghetti western horror? And it turned out from that kind of concept, and the story started, taking a life of its own, and it's taken me 2 years to complete the screenplay.
Sounds awesome.
You start writing and you start owing to the story, and it's like it became a little bit bigger than the original concept. So that's why I had to kind of not really place it in one genre.
Mm-hmm. It was making films, as a writer, director. Is that something you always wanted to pursue?
Yeah, what I did is I just kind of felt like as an actor, I'd just kind of been going to school for it, and working with a lot of great directors and a lot of great, horror filmmakers. I've been really blessed. I've had the pleasure of working with, Wes Craven and Jack Shoulder and Richard Yench, and I've been a Stephen King film and got to work with Stephen, and working on this last film as well. Dave Parker and Mike Mendez and all these guys are just super, super inspirational. And I've been hitting the horror convention circuit a little bit, and really getting out there and seeing the fans and spending time with Mark Patton and Robert Englund. And so I just really knew that I wanted to finally pursue my dream. And I think everything is for a reason, and I finally feel like I'm ready to really stamp myself and put myself out there and tell my stories and show the world what kind of filmmaker I'm going to be.
Yeah, it's very cool. And
that's really exciting. That must be like quite a feeling to be right at the end to see where it comes out.
Yeah, it really is exciting. I have a great motivation. I have 3 awesome sons, and the funny thing is already they're horror film fans. My youngest is in kindergarten, and the teacher pulled me aside and said, "Robert, I don't think it's such a good idea to let Johnny Ray watch, horror movies, and he's been talking about Freddy Krueger's killed his dad." And I said, "Well, yeah, he actually did. Freddy killed me in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, and we kind of just let him see that one part, and she was like, "Really? You were really in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2? I said, "Yeah, go look it up on Netflix, biatch." A couple of days later, went back to the school and was like, "Hey." She thought my boy was just telling lies, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I see nothing wrong. I was watching those movies back when I was like 6 or so. I turned out totally fine.
Turned out.
Yeah. Maybe I'm not the best example, but no.
Where are you guys anyway?
Massachusetts.
All right.
Yeah.
And my dad's
I'm
from
back and he's on vacation. Oh my God.
I'm calling you from beautiful Santa Monica, California.
It's probably enough.
It's better than them.
Yeah, I assume it's a lot warmer than it is here at the moment.
Well, it's a little nippy, but not compared to your weather. I think it's somewhere in the high 50s tonight.
No, too bad.
It's not warm this year. It's cold.
It's probably not too much different than it is here.
For here, it's actually freezing temperatures.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm gonna check my phone here. It says it's no, it's 34
give up.
here.
Once it hits winter, it's just cold.
Yes. Yeah, it's 34 here right now.
Oh my God! Yeah, the whole city would stop if it ever got 34 here. Everybody's already walking around in parkas like they're going snowboarding.
Yeah, it was 34 is pretty cold, but it'll probably get a lot colder. So that I just did want to mention. You said about that picture you guys are taking where you get a picture with you and Mark Patton together. That was for the Trevor Project.
Yes, correct.
Mm-hmm. And that's coming up in February.
Yes, in February. Did Mark tell you all about it?
Yeah. But if you want to add anything.
Yeah, I mean, I just
everybody listening tonight, maybe listen to it then. So definitely get into it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be the first time we've all been together in one spot. I mean, Mark and Robert and I did a show together, but and Mark and Kim and Robert have been together. But this is the first time that it'll be Marshall, Mark, Kim, and the director Jack Shoulder and myself, along with old Freddy Krueger there, Robert Englund. So we're all going to be there together, and I think it'll be a lot of fun, especially because it's going to be the 30-year reunion of the film. Mm-hmm. And it'll be really cool for me to, walk back down memory lane with those guys. That was my second film. I did Nightmare just after I wrapped Weird Science and went straight on to the Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 set, like 3 days after. And I just have Nightmare on Elm Street's been really good to me over the years. The fans and, the notoriety. And I got to tell you, every Halloween, the residual checks aren't bad. And I made a lot of great friends. I'm still really good friends with Marshall. We're really good buddies. We hang out all the time, and whenever I see Robert, it's like no time has passed. Robert Englund is just such a sweetheart, absolute antithesis of what he plays on the silver screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen Kim in quite a while. It would be really great to see her. She is such a sweetheart, and such a great actress. And I'd like to even get her in my movie. I'm going to try to pull her out of her semi-retirement and try to get her into Black Asylum.
Mm-hmm. No, you mentioned some of the people that were going to be in Black Asylum. Did you come into contact with them, through the conventions?
No, I've been friends with all those guys that I mentioned. There's also a couple other actors. Sherilyn Fenn is signed on, and John Ortiz from Silver Lining Book. There's a few actors that I would say 9 out of 10 of the actors have been in at least one big horror franchise film. Several of them, as you know, like Tom Toll, for instance, and William Forsythe have been in 7 horror film franchise films. And but we're not done casting yet. We're going to get a few more on board. There's still a couple of roles that I've left open, so that the financier and or distributors could have a say in a couple of the lead roles. But my plan is to get sort of like an Expendables for the horror world. I want to get like a who's who. I'm not really so concerned about name, foreign value, and all this bullshit that the business has turned into. It's like they don't want to read anymore. The first thing that anybody with a check says is who's in it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I mention some of the names, and they go, well, the foreign sales money really isn't that. And I say, you don't understand, man. These are horror film legends, and the horror fans, they know who's who in this genre. And what we want to do is we want to make a good movie with good actors and a great story. And, if you make it, they'll come. So stop worrying about the dollars and cents, and let's get back to the art of making a killer horror movie.
Yeah.
I've done so much shit. And a lot of really good movies. And I just think that a lot of the movies that have come out as pretty recently have sort of missed the mark on, what made horror films originally, in the 40s, from the Universal monsters on into, some of the greats like, The Exorcist and Rosemary's Baby and The Town That Dreaded Sundown, some of my all-time favorites. And when it really peaked out, I thought, was in the 80s when, the Halloweens and the Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Streets and all those were introduced. Some of these movies, I think, have lost that cool concept and the rhythm that I think a good horror movie provides. We're also really putting a lot of effort into the cinematography, the sound, and music. First and foremost, as a director, what I'm really going to be focusing on is performances. And I think that the horror fans really, really are smart enough to attach on to a great story, as well as all of what makes a great horror film work, which is nice and scary. So I wrote this script with these actors in mind, and I have a lot of ideas and a lot of tricks up my sleeve that I haven't let anybody know yet. That we're going to come out and we want this to be the first of a trilogy.
Very cool.
Very interesting.
Now, I assume you must have always been a horror movie fan, since you brought up, some of the classics from the 70s and the Universal horror monster films. were you always a horror movie fan, like growing up? Hello?
Oh, are we still connected? I noticed it was getting a little
Movies
hard.
and
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
you know, I loved. I don't know about Massachusetts, but here we had our first sort of Elvira, if you will, was a guy called Seymour. And Seymour used to have this show on television, Seymour, and he would show all these great spooky movies on a Friday night. And I'd sit home with my grandfather, and we would make popcorn, turn out the lights, and watch all these great old horror movies like The Wolfman and Frankenstein and Dracula and all those original greats, and then into some more of the 70s slasher films, which they would always have to kind of edit for television.
Mm-hmm.
But then once I started getting hooked on the horror films from TV, my grandpa and my dad would take me downtown to the triple features downtown LA, and for $3 you could watch 3 movies. And we'd spend the Saturday afternoon there at the matinees, and my favorite thing was watching horror movies. So when I made the cover of Fangoria magazine, man, it was like I won the Academy Award, let me tell you.
Yeah. And did your father get to see you when you were in horror films, when you were in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2?
Oh yeah. My dad, he's still kicking.
Oh, very cool.
My grandpa is in heaven. My mom is as well. They were big inspirations for me to become an actor. But my mom and dad actually came to the Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 screening, and I remember really vividly when Freddie got me up against the door, and my movie father was on the other side pounding on the door, and I was saying, "Dad, help, Dad." I peeked over at my dad, and he had tears running down his face.
That's awesome.
I said, "Dad, don't be sad, man." I said, "It's a movie." He said, "I'm not crying because of that. Look, there you are, man. There you are."
Yeah, I mean, he took you to that. I mean, he took you to see all these horror movies, and then to see his son up there. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man. No, I feel like I said, really grateful to be an actor. I'm proud of the work I've done. I think my best work is yet to come. I think I still always, I'll always be an actor, and I enjoy acting. Mm-hmm. But my new passion is writing and directing. So I really feel very strongly, very confident about the movies I'm going to put out, and I take pride in my work. And I want, like I said, I hope I can get the horror fans behind me. Because I don't want to just put out schlocky content. I want my movies to be complete in 3 acts and really stick to a consistent formula, which in storytelling itself as well as movie making, I think has been missing a little bit from some of the movies I've seen. Mm-hmm. They have a few kills and a couple gory scenes, and they call it a movie. Or, this bullshit that I think is with the cameras, and they go in with an HD camera, and they, all the shaking and moving.
Yeah.
And, I mean, come on, really?
Yeah.
What happened to good old storytelling, But I mean, I don't like to knock other, people's work. That's why I don't really, get specific on what movies I don't like. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like when you get good actors and you have a good story, that beats out numbers and these sort of schlocky kind of kill scenes that I've seen that don't really have any meaning to them. Mm-hmm. If you don't care about the character, what good is the death scene?
Yeah, that's something we talk about all the time. If otherwise, you're almost kind of rooting for the for the villain just to see him kill people off.
Yeah.
Well, that could be good too. But if you don't, yeah. But if you don't,
There has to be a reason for people to connect with your film, or it's just going to go away.
Exactly.
Whatever the reason is, it's like character, whatever it is. If there's no connection for whatever reason, just it'll be here, and it could even have some brief attention.
Yeah, I will say we do have a bad connection here tonight on everyone's part. So, if you would like to come back on sometime, Robert, and we'll set up like an interview and advertise it, that would be cool.
That'd be awesome.
All right.
Absolutely. It was good talking with you guys.
You as well. It was really awesome.
Great to have you here. Thank you so much for calling in.
You know what? I'll keep you posted on my work, and I'll keep you posted on the Tales of Halloween anthology. I can tell you the movie that I'm in is called Sweet Tooth, and I don't want to say any more than that until we get the okay from the producers. But they did say it was okay for me to talk about, just the film's title and the cast. Can't really talk about what it's about yet, but these guys have really big plans for this anthology, and there's some really cool actors, and so I'll keep you guys abreast, and I'll let you know what's happening with Black Asylum, and whenever I make appearances, especially when I can get out toward Massachusetts, I'd love to come see you guys.
That'd be awesome. In October, the big convention in around here is Rock and Shock.
Yeah.
Right. You know what? I'll get Sean to sign me on to that thing.
Yeah, because that's
it's on our west of Boston, but it's easy to get to out of the area.
Especially this year, because like you guys said, it's the anniversary for. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
This year being the anniversary.
Yeah, man, it'd be awesome to come to Boston in October.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like, I don't know what kind you listen to, but if you're into it and you're not doing that, there's an epic amount of music. They do, I don't know how much you know about it, but they do parallel, where they have a concert that's basically, I think it runs from noon until after midnight of just nonstop rock and metal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because and it's always...
If you don't like that stuff, it's cool just to go for the...
Yeah, so during the day it's like the convention, and then at night they have the rock concert. So it's a pretty.
So they had the Misfits. They had Glenn Danzig with Doyle. And
did you say Danzig?
They have all these. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, last time we went, they had we went and saw the Danzig concert, and Doyle was there with them.
And Doyle was there, and I think from what we saw, we talked to Doyle in Seattle. Like he was trying to be very serious about it. But it sounds like they're going to hook up together again. I don't know necessarily about Rock and Shock, but anyways, that's Rock and Shock is like the convention aspect, and then
I'm gonna get old. You guys know Sean Clark, right, from Horace Hallowed Grounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to get old Sean to sign me on to that Rock and Shock. And you guys have my number if there's ever a time where the timing's right and all of a sudden you feel like calling me about anything or a question, or if you want me on your show or whatever, just give me a call.
That'd be sweet.
And we can do one of those impromptus, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's always fun. We have a few people, that are like our regulars who call in and just either talk about something they're going to do, or just call in and talk about whatever.
Yeah, or if you ever need somebody to talk shit about somebody, just you know what? Let's call Rusler and see what he's got to say about it.
That sounds excellent. We'll keep you on speed dial.
And I also like phone sex, so don't be shy.
That could be a new segment on the show.
He knows all about it. He's right there with you.
I might call you back after the show
tonight. He'll.
Yeah, I prefer the girl.
Oh.
I prefer the girl, but since I was in Nightmare 2, you can call too, bro.
All right.
That's what we can.
Nice talking with you guys. Let's talk soon.
What was that?
Nothing.
All right.
What did she say? Did she say something?
I think
Oh,
she
yeah,
did.
great talking with you, too. You guys stay in touch.
Thanks, man. That was excellent.
All right, absolutely. You as well.
Take care.
Awesome. Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Hi, this is Caroline Williams from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and Sharknado 4. You're listening to Without Your Head.